Hey YouTube, how's it going? Coming back at you with Here in My Office. This is Here in My Office 21. It's been a few days. I know I had a period of time where I was making a lot of videos, one after another. I had a lot going on. Now we're at a bit of a lull right now. I said in my last video, they canceled the job, so I guess I can't even blame myself. I mean, they it was nothing I did or didn't do. They just canceled the job, and that was the job in New York City. That would have necessitated moving out to Salt Lake City, Utah, which I wasn't that crazy about. So that's good. So I'm remaining positive. I probably have my name out at. There's probably 10 banks that have my resume that I've applied to positions over the last several weeks that I haven't heard from yet. I did get a quick off the bat couple of rejections the other day because I think right after I came back from New York and they canceled that job, I was kind of I figured I'd go on a blitz and I'd go and just apply to jobs that I'm qualified for, but cast a wider net with the number of banks that I'm looking at. So we're talking about banks like Toronto Dominion and TD Bank. TD Bank is Toronto Dominion, but Deutsche Bank, Barclays, things like that. Not United States banks, and I came from a foreign bank, so I'm fully aware of how that works. And actually, I like how it works because if you're a foreign-based bank, if they're based in London, for example, you're gonna eventually get travel to London. You're gonna get to spend some time over there, and depending on your aspirations and your career goals, you might find that interesting. I personally like that. So I looked at there's a local bank here in Buffalo. A lot of people that work where I used to work, in fact, come from there, and vice versa. But they don't have any senior audit manager level jobs. They have a lot of audit associates, new jobs, people with 1 to 3 years experience. But being that I have almost 12. I'm kind of at the I need to secure a senior level job, and I'm at the point where I do want to work at a global bank. But if I have to, over the next coming months, depending on what happens, I might just have to bite the bullet and take something that's less than ideal, at least from the beginning. And I could talk you guys through that and let you know how it's going. But I don't mean to sound negative or anything, but I'm just trying to be realistic here. There's only so many roles to go around, but I have my resume in at so many different companies right now, and they, slowly, one after another, come through and have phone interviews with me. But I've only really had, I guess, out of the, let's say, 15 banks I've applied to, 15 companies, only really gotten close with 3 of them. Two of those jobs just disappeared. I mean, the one job was Ernst & Young. I believe it was an audit, and I was talking to them around Christmas time, and it was through a recruiter, through a headhunter, and he contacted me a few times, and he said, "Oh, yeah, just let me know when Ernst & Young reaches out to you," and they never did. It just never happened. And at the time, I was more focused on. I'm always focused on the next opportunity, so I'm not going to get hung up on something that I think is a waste of my time and I don't think it's going to pan out. So I've just moved on. I mean, it was just like when I came back from New York, I said, okay, I've done everything I can do with this position. Let's move on to other jobs and let's try to get more interviews out there. So that's kind of what I've been doing, guys. And personally, my situation, I know I shouldn't, and I haven't talked a lot about my settlement, and I don't mean air quotes. It is a settlement, and it's relating to my prior employer. So there were some conditions around my dismissal that were illegal, to be quite frank with you. So that also has taken longer than we thought. It's been unfortunate, but the bank that we're dealing with has been kind of stonewalling us and playing hardball and giving us information and moving forward with the lawsuit. So while it is stressful to not have a job and to be not have an income, I know that that's on the horizon. And once that comes through, it's going to essentially be able to replace my income for years. It's going to be, I've said to myself too, if I really wanted to, depending on what the settlement is, the settlement could be enough to pay my cost of living here for years to come. And while I look for suitable work, while I look for another job, and that's essentially what I'm doing right now. But I thought I'd be paid by now. I thought I'd be like, all right, well, we'll keep interviewing, but it's not really that big of an emergency because, we got our settlement, we got the money. I obviously must have money to keep going at this rate. I mean, I've been out of business. I've been unemployed since September 2018, the end of September. So keep up that emergency fund, guys. It's really a saver. I would probably be begging my mother for money right now, or doing something that I wouldn't want to do, but reaching out to family, and they've got their own. My mother, she's 68 years old. She needs that money for retirement. She doesn't need to be helping out her 37-year-old son. So I do have those options though. So I'm not going to be out on the street. Getting to where I'm at right now has been a long time coming. So what do we do next? I was just looking at jobs just about an hour ago. I was looking at Bank of America and realized that I'm looking again at jobs that I've already applied to and forgot, and it said, you've already applied to this job, duh. So I'm trying to do everything I can do. I even looked outside of financial services. I looked at a job in third-party risk, I think it was, or an audit, but outside of financial services at Boeing. And there was Boeing and Verizon. Okay, so I'm starting to realize there's more to internal auditing than financial services. Granted, that's where all my experience is, so I'm going to cast my net across all the financial services companies. But if it comes down to it and I get a good offer from, say, Boeing, they're a good company, they're Boeing. They make, they're a major defense contractor. So, we'll go for that too. But yeah, so I'm thinking today is what, Wednesday? I always say this week, next week. I would have thought I would have heard from somebody this week, given how many resumes are out there. But maybe it won't be this week. Maybe it'll be next week. But as soon as I get more information on what's going on, and what the next step is, I can let you guys know and make a Here in My Office 22. So I'm thinking maybe by Here in My Office 30, we'll have a job. And I think once I have a job, I'll say, I could still make these videos. I'm not talking about anything proprietary to these companies. I'm just talking about my job pursuit and applying. There's really nothing wrong with saying any of that. So once I do get a job, I'll probably focus this channel more on personal finance, because then basically we're going to be repairing the damage that's been done. And especially too, once I get my settlement. When I get my settlement, I'm gonna pay off my car. I'm gonna pay off credit card debt. Now, I didn't have credit card debt before I became unemployed. It was a scenario where, imagine if they shut off your income and you don't have any money in your checking account anymore. What are you gonna do? You still need to eat. You're gonna bust out that credit card. I have credit cards with $15,000, $20,000 limits. And I'm using them, so it's not fun, guys. It's really not. But I've maintained my composure throughout this whole thing. I know that there are worse things in life than a job, than a loss of a job. I mean, I could be facing cancer. I watched my father face cancer. I watched him die. I watched, not to get too dramatic and morbid, but hang in there, guys. If you're in the same boat as me, life goes on. We will persevere. you know, eventually the right opening will happen, materialize, and I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up getting a raise. I mean, I was making 140. Job at JP Morgan, that was an individual contributor job. He was at, they were saying 165, and that was not even as a manager. So if I could, you know, get the right income, and two, if I could stay in Buffalo, it will make things a lot easier for me. I don't want to have to move again. I just moved. So so yeah, guys, if you want to check out the rest of Here in My Office, the rest of the series, as I'm kind of rambling now, go through the old videos. Go through. You can start at the beginning. Look at the video 1. You can get a little understanding of who I am, my background, my resume, things like that, and then kind of this whole house purchase I just bought. You know, I've only been in this house about 6 months now, so we're still getting our feet wet in this house, and it's quite a massive place. And I made a few videos of this house and of my neighborhood. So check out the other videos on my channel, guys. And as always, thank you for watching, and stick around for Here in My Office 23 coming up next. All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.